clips of is Ronaldo. That's because Ronaldo he's beyond the sport. So yeah, we're gonna watch him if he was playing golf. Like we're just gonna continue watching him because it's Ronaldo. Everybody else, the second they go over there, you don't see them again. You don't hear about them again. You don't care about anything that they win over there again. You know, they could do some exceptional football. No one cares.
Have you heard about Turk Ali Sheikh?
Yeah.
You know, and he's changing boxing
Yeah.
massively.
Yeah.
Like things have been bottlenecked with boxing, where you want fights to be made,
Yep.
and then it doesn't happen in 6 months. It doesn't have that Christmas, and then the fight happens when both the fighters are not
Yeah.
themselves. And you know, you saw that, like, you know, with Triple G and Canelo, how long it took to get
Yeah.
the second, third trilogy
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
going on, and he's making fights like this, bro.
People love it.
You know,
People love it.
he's changed the game. You know,
And I guess it can work for that when there is an area to exploit. Like as you say, in the boxing at the moment, there's too many hands in the pot, and everyone's greedy. There's too many people that want to be paid before a fight can happen. Whereas if it's Dana White, it's like, you guys just do what I say.
yeah,
It's just as simple as that.
yeah.
So it's only me that I have to kind of talk to. Obviously, he's got a team of people, but it's under him. Whereas it's like this show versus this show and this show, like they're all separate, and everyone's got great fighters, and nobody wants to, lose out on pay.
Yeah.
And he's changing that, and I think he spoke about trying to just buy boxing, which is very believable because they've done it to golf, and I'm sure they do it. They're basically doing it to football at the moment. I can see them doing it. See, whereas in football, I think they're ruining the sport at the moment. I don't know, again, if everything goes that way, maybe different. But right now, I think that type of money is ruining like the sport, because it's allowing unrealistic transactions, and with this financial fair play, people have got loopholes because they got companies in Saudi that are paid. Like, it's just corrupt at the moment, in my opinion. It's kind of ruining things. Obviously great for the players that are around in that time, in terms of the contracts, but going back, they are that kind of thing is what PFL is providing at the moment. How long they can last for, because MMA is a very difficult sport, and like I said, UFC have basically monopolized the whole industry. How long that can last for, I'm not sure, but it looks like they are trying to build something quite cool.
Do you think Bellator or PFL, do they miss you?
Bellator, I think Bellator. I don't think Bellator are gonna last too much longer, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah, not at all. So Bellator, yeah.
What's the main difference between Bellator and UFC?
Professionalism, the organization, the marketing being the key. And there were so many things, and I've got, my mind's always like very creative, and there were so many things I'd even tell them, like, yo, you guys should do this, you guys should do that, and then yeah, and I'm sure it's not as easy for them because they were bought out by loads of different people, like Viacom at one point, I think HBO, they were doing, I forget all the different deals, but it means there are other people that they have to address that don't really know the sport or really care. So they'll be like, they might have put my suggestion forward, or been even thinking in the same manner, but then they go to these guys and they're just like, not interested. Whereas again, Dana, it's like, this is a good idea, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. He's not nobody really to answer to.
Do the UFC pay fairly?
So I think the UFC pay fairly at the top. If you've got a name and they're bringing you in, they'll pay you fairly, and they have the money there. Do they pay fairly as a whole? I think they could do a lot better. I definitely think they could do a lot better. And this is something I've spoken about before. I just feel like in any sport, especially this type of sport that we're in, because like I said, I get to watch these people bust their asses day in, day out, injuries and like just crazy stuff, not really even have the infrastructure to support them. So they're having to find their own physios and their own this and their own that, and pay out of their own pocket to do so. My thing is, when you get to the top of the game, which UFC is, these things shouldn't be an issue anymore. One thing that is unbelievable that the UFC have is the Performance Institute. And that is giving people that kind of backing now. So like before my fights, I'm getting massages every day,
Oh yeah.
which that was, again, unless I went out and found it and paid for it, that wasn't a thing in Bellator. With nutrition, the PI provide all the food, and it's like, oh wow. So I think that side of it isn't spoken about enough. And now that I'm there, I'm like, oh damn, I didn't realize this is what they're getting. And that is a massive, like, again, for weight cutting and stuff. My every day my meals are sorted. Whereas before, I have to pay for nutrition or organize my meals, especially go to a country that I don't know about, have to figure everything out. Big difference. Like PI is a massive game changer. And it's getting better. So that is unbelievable. But I do feel there should be more help for once you get to the UFC, or maybe even get to the UFC and get to a certain level, maybe a certain ranking in the UFC.
Yeah.
I think you should automatically trigger a certain fund, maybe.
Do you get sponsorships, endorsements,
Yeah,
and stuff like
of
that?
course. Yeah, the difficult side of things is in the UK. Now, this is a UK specific issue. There are certain countries that really get behind combat sports.
Mm.
Like I go to Japan and they love combat sports. They can tell me everybody. Go to the Philippines, there's places in Russia, like they get behind. So if you have a champion, if you're a champion or even somebody known from there, oh man, the whole place knows about you. So
Yeah.
the sponsors and everything you're gonna get is very different. I can be a world champion here, go back, come like land on a plane to England, and nobody knows who the hell
No.
I am. Nobody cares. Nobody, like, England's obviously is very competitive, but we don't, unless it's football or a few other sports, we don't get behind it in the same way.
Yeah.
So for us, sponsorships are very difficult. And I say us, even for myself, and
Yeah.
I've built an amazing brand, and now I'm in the UFC at that. So my brand is being backed by the monster in this sport, in
Yeah.
this game. And still people are kind of like, oh yeah, but it's MMA. Oh, MMA is still, yeah, it's still, there's still a bit of an air around. Oh, it's a bit too brutal for us.
Michael, what you say? Let's go move to Japan, bro.
Yeah, Nate, tell me about it.
Few
Seriously,
years out there, make a
seriously.
couple meals.
It would, and legit, it makes such a difference based on where you come from as well, unfortunately. And then you got the likes of like a Conor McGregor. Now, if Conor McGregor, I'm not taking anything away from him because I actually think he's very talented. If Conor McGregor was from London, he's not getting the same backing. He's not as big as he is, doing all the same thing. I don't think he's as big as he is. People will get behind him and love him. If he's got to talk, yeah, he's still going to get people that are going to like him in the same way, but he's not going to be as big as he is, just being from over here. Because people just over here just don't back you. But the Irish now, oh damn,
Different ball game.
oh they, I was there when he fought Mayweather. People, and I'm talking thousands of Irish fans, traveled to Vegas and didn't go to the fight. They just wanted to be in the atmosphere.
Oh.
So they went to the weigh-ins, and it was insane. And the next day I'm thinking it's going to be the same thing. And I'm like, where the hell are all the Irish gone? But they're like, I can't afford a ticket, but we're gonna be in Vegas. All the bars outside are packed full of McGregor fans. That's like a country that supports you in that way is very different and can help individuals on their journey up. Because one thing that these organizations care about most is how much you're going to be selling for me. So I don't care how good a fighter you are. I don't care to give you the belt, even if you're beating everybody. But this guy, he makes noise, which is why I try to market myself and brand myself as much as I could. But you can only really do so much. But
so what do you think Anthony Joshua does differently that, sometimes the whole nation feels like they're behind him? Is it the sport is very different and
sports
British boxing
very
is very
different.
different?
The sport's very different. So again, it's we've had so many more years with boxing. People accept boxing over the MMA. And it's little things as some people are like, oh yeah, but you guys fight in the cage. But people don't understand that the cage is there for safety. If we had a ring, it could injure you because we're getting takedowns and stuff. Someone could land on their neck, or you could actually injure yourself. So the cage is for the safety of the fighters. But again, it's just the appeal of a cage. And the fact that you can get cut and have to continue fighting. Whereas in boxing, even if your nose is bleeding, they have to clean it up.
Mhm.
So again, it's just it looks different. It
Yeah.
looks a bit more. So I understand it to a degree, and the next generation, they're the ones that's gonna be like, oh no, we back these guys. Those are the guys that when they're like business owners when they're older. I was raised watching these guys 100%. I get it. I understand the sport.